So before we started recording, we was just talking about it was an era in hip hop where this is like I'm gonna say '09 to I think the era kind of ended like 2012.
Yeah.
That's the time frame that I'm thinking about. And during this time, you had an influx of mixtapes just coming out. You know what I'm saying? And at this time, man, it was a need for this kind of music where you got not only lyrical rappers, but you got full projects. You know what I'm saying? Like these was literally like classic albums coming out as mixtapes. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And man, just thinking about that time, man. So '09. Let me ask you this: where was you at the first time that you heard the Warm Up by J. Cole? You remember that?
Yeah, I remember. I'm trying to think, where was that? That came out.
Like '09.
'09. All right.
Yeah.
'09. I mean, definitely in school. I remember, you know what I'm saying, college. I was definitely in school.
Do you remember your first time hearing that, John?
Slightly because we was in the you know what I'm saying, for everyone who don't know, I was with I Am Music Group, and we was managing Young Sir, you know what I'm saying? So we was heavy in the music game, you know. So
shout out to Young Sir for sure.
Yeah, so when J. Cole came out, we all listened to it because we was just hearing you know, it was like competition. You wanted to be amongst the best. And so when he came out, it was like, okay, we see where hip hop is headed, and it felt good because we was in that same lane. It's just lyrics.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So I remember J. Cole, and I'm like, damn, he one of the ones. I knew he was going to stick before he popped. But then his music spoke to the college folks too.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? That dorm like, you know, so you know, he spoke, he garnered that crowd at the perfect time, yeah.
Yeah. Nah, that's a fact, y'all. And it's wild because I thought the first time I ever heard J. Cole was the Warm Up, and I didn't realize till later that I've been heard J. Cole. Mm-hmm. So like the story, how the story go for real. So I never forget it, man. I was in Charlotte, and my cousin was like, "Hey, you heard of J. Cole?" I was like, "Nah." Like, nah, I ain't never heard of J. Cole, whatever. He was like, yeah, you would like him, or whatever. That's what he said. He was like, yeah, he be talking about the same stuff you be talking about. So that he gave me the CD, and it said J. Cole on the jump. Man, I went back to A&T. I played that jump, and I didn't stop playing it the whole semester. You know what I'm saying? And then my roommates at the time, they was from a town in North Carolina called Laurinburg, and Laurinburg is right outside of Fayetteville. So they connected with him off of that. So everybody was just bumping the Warm Up, right? Yep. So I didn't realize till later on that wasn't my first time hearing J. Cole. My first time hearing J. Cole was on that Wale album, the Attention Deficit jump.
Yeah.
Beautiful Bliss.
Yeah.
So, but at the time, I didn't know who he was. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, but that verse, if you remember that verse, that jump stick out. So I definitely was like, damn, who the hell is this? You know what I'm saying? When I first heard it, but I wasn't putting two and two together that this was the same person. You know what I'm saying? So, so that was my first time hearing Warm Up, right? And then Friday Night Lights came out. That's my favorite J. Cole mixtape. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That jump take me right back to these student apartments I was staying in at A&T, you know what I'm saying, called Spring Place. I'll never forget it, man. Like every time and it's wild. So J. Cole, to me, I would say it's a tie between J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar, the Section 80 Kendrick Lamar. Those are the two mixtapes that I would say really impacted me the most. But at that time, and it's crazy, it's really hard to say, because just as much as I was bumping Section 80, I was bumping Cushion Orange Juice. Just as much as I was bumping Cushion Orange Juice, I was bumping Royal Flush too. You know what I'm saying? And Finally Famous. You know what I'm saying? And True Religion. And man,
it's so many. So many,
you know what I'm saying? Lil Wayne dropped No Ceilings. You know what I'm saying?
The end of that run, you had Rich Forever, Rick Ross. That Rich Forever.
That Rich Forever was crazy.
Yeah, Rich Forever.
Rick Ross was, man. Rick Ross, I still don't feel like he get the respect he deserved. But at that time, he was on fire. At that time. And then he dropped Teflon Don during that same time. Yeah. It was easily the best album during that time for sure. And I feel like I'm missing people, but Joey Badass Mixtape came out.
Didn't Rich Forever, that's when he debuted Meek and Wale to the team?
Nah. So
on that one?
Nah. So and I never forget that. So I remember when Wale signed to MMG, it was right after More About Nothing. I ain't even mentioned More About Nothing just now. And the whole time, that's the one that impacted me the most, if I'm being all the way 100. Because that jump blew my mind because of how he did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was signed to Interscope, got dropped from the label, and then put out something way better than anything he would have put out on the label. You know what I'm saying? Had a bidding war trying to sign him, and then he ended up signing to Rick Ross. You know what I'm saying? The whole concept of having Seinfeld through the whole joint, like it was so creative. The different subject matter, all of that, and then him representing back home, like just the whole thing. I was like, damn. But yeah. So he dropped More About Nothing, and then after More About Nothing, like right after that, that's when he signed to MMG, and then remember Rick Ross put out that Self-Made album.
That's what it's Self-Made. Self-Made.
And that's how he introduced everybody off that joint. Yeah. I remember Wale had the 600 bands. Meek Mill had the I'm a Boss off that jump. Dream Chasers. I ain't even mentioned Dream Chasers. Nipsey Hussle had Crenshaw. You know what I'm saying?
I rocked with Nip. I was on the Nip. I mean, and them eras though, like I was saying off before we got on air, them eras we was touring heavy. Me, we Young Sir and the team. You know what I'm saying? So stuff that stuck out to us was of course the J. Cole's and them, but we was heavy in the 2 Chainz was dropping mixtapes. Of course, Rick Ross, you said Wiz Khalifa, all those Yo Gotti's, Wayne, all them at that time. It was like a lifestyle rap, like especially that Wiz Khalifa. So we used to hang out with. We used to be up in Baltimore with the Ravens. We used to hang out with all of them. A lot of the Raven players and Wiz Khalifa, Cushion Orange Juice, because it was just that lifestyle. And when you live in it, you on tour. It's a vibe. That mixtape was a theme music to how we was moving back in the day.
The Cushion Orange Juice. Yeah.
Man, so that probably was probably the number one impactful one, and Rocco too. Can't forget my man Rocco.
I mess with Rocco. I definitely mess with Rocco. The Cushion Orange Juice, y'all. So how I got put on to him, I'll never forget it. So I'm home for the summer or whatever, and I'm working somewhere called Office Movers. It was like a slavery job for real. Mm-hmm. But we going into big ass offices and moving furniture and all that. And I remember one of the people I was working with, they would go in a car and Chief just randomly, not even lunch break, they'd just take their own break and just Chief in the car or whatever. And one time I'm in the car, I wasn't even smoking at the time, and they play the joint Up off Fish Orange Juice. That's the first time I ever heard Wiz Khalifa, right? And it was different. It was definitely different. I'm like, damn, who is this? And then when I went back to college, I went back in my student apartment. That's the first artist. Like, I'm opening the door and my cousin playing Wiz Khalifa. You know what I'm saying? So like that was my introduction to him. And then I ended up playing the whole Cushion Orange Juice myself. And then because I always had an old soul, you know what I'm saying? So the fact that he was chopping up all them soul samples and all that, I was already like, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
No, go ahead, go finish. You got it.
Now I was saying, then the fact that how he put it together, like the whole, like it was a radio station. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, the whole vibe. I connected with it for sure.
It was that, it was that he had a Snoop Dogg vibe to it. You know? So I remember that one because we was hip to Wiz before, when his earlier mixtapes too. I'm a big Currency fan.
Currency, oh hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big. Everybody can tell you if you're gonna get a call me, you gonna hit some Currency. So through Currency is how I was hip. I got hip to Wiz. You know what I'm saying? But again, when Cushion the Orange Juice came out, bro, man, we was living that life, bro. So that one resonated for sure. Yeah, that one resonated for sure for us.
Another mixtape, man, that came out that I didn't mention was that ASAP Rocky mixtape.
See, I didn't get into that one. How
for real?
Yeah,
man, that ASAP Rocky mixtape was crazy, bro. Like it was when I first heard it. And another reason why I love this era that we're talking about, because none of the artists sounded like the other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Big Sean, Finally Famous, did not sound like More About Nothing. More About Nothing did not sound like Section 80 or Friday Night Lights. You know what I'm saying? Or Cushion Orange Juice or whatever. And so when I heard the ASAP Rocky joint, the first time I heard it, it sounded like a mix between Onyx, Bone Thugs and Harmony, 3-6 Mafia, and Wu-Tang in one album. You know what I'm saying? So my mind was blown, and then that was the vibe of the production on there, and then how he was rapping over the beats. You know what I'm saying? Then he had like Schoolboy Q on there and all that. Yeah, that jump was crazy. You know what I'm saying? And then his first album, because he did a Long Live and Live Last or whatever. Yeah, so the album I think was Long Live ASAP, if I'm not mistaken. But the mixtape was like that too. It was like Long Last, something like that. But so the album was like an extension of the mixtape, and that first album is crazy. You know what I'm saying? If you really like sit and listen to that joke. But yeah, man, ASAP Rocky definitely, man, that mixtape, and it's amazing how the mixtapes really put them rappers on. You know what I'm saying? The mixtape, like we were talking about with Wale. Wale dropped his mixtape when he got dropped from his label. And that mixtape made Rick Ross be like, yeah, come over here. You know what I'm saying? J. Cole, I feel like, now I ain't gonna lie, I'm not sure if J. Cole was signed already when Warm Up came out. Because I remember at the end of Warm Up, he had the Last Call joint where he tell a story about him getting signed or whatever. So I'm not sure, but whether we talking about
yeah, I think he was signed. I think he was signed right
there. He was signed? Okay, yeah. So now that I'm thinking about it, I ain't gonna lie. I think more so it gained the attention of the people. Because the more I'm thinking about it, I think a lot of these artists was signed, except for Wale, and it was probably somebody else. But I'm thinking about Drake. Drake was signed to Young Money. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, Wale was with he wasn't in the scope.
Yeah, but he dropped More About Nothing after he got dropped. Matter of fact, that's the whole inspiration behind the jump. Like basically, like y'all slept on me. You know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah. So I take that back for real, because the more I'm thinking, a lot of these artists weren't signed. I mean, were signed. Like whether we talking about Kendrick, I think he just got signed to TDE. Drake just got signed to Young Money. You know what I'm saying?
That was just there. A lot of them were just getting there, getting in the door.
So more so the attention of the label, it was the attention of the people more than anything. You know what I'm saying?
Them days, the mixtapes is all about. He was gone in the street attention.
Yeah. For sure. Wiz wasn't signed either though. Now I think about it.
No, he wasn't. He was going through a thing with Rostam Records, and then boom, he was doing his series, and then he did that one. Now I could negotiate. You know what I'm saying?
So
now, go ahead. What was the question?
Nah, go ahead.
No, I was just saying those are the times where everyone had relationships with record labels, but I needed a real negotiation. I'm not just taking any offer. So these mixtapes I'm releasing, I could come back to the table and we could really talk something. Because I'm gonna show you what I could do with these on the streets. I could show you, and that's how everybody was coming around that time. Man, I remember that.
Nah, man, and somebody that we missed was Fab.
Fab, which one here? What was that?
Man, all them soul tapes. He
dropped all them soul tapes. Yeah,
during that time, man. And so, and it's wild because looking back, I feel like it exposed how sample clearance affects the album. You know what I'm saying? Because I think a lot of them out because a lot of them artists, they mixtape was better than their album. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Fab included.
Facts.
And then you know what I'm saying, and I think that has a lot to do with sample clearancing at that time. Because mixtape. It's free for all, like, because they're not selling it, so they could just rap over whatever they want. And Fab took the cold advantage of that.
Yeah, because I don't have to. It was just cost effective. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot cheaper to put out as far as getting the budget from the label and this, that, and the third. I could put it out in my home studio, and then but making my money on the road because back in them times mixtapes was torn. This is when the whole industry was going through a shift in the business model. So in that mixtape run era right there, we hitting the road because this club was going to pay us. You know what I'm saying? So the mixtape game had to get kind of closed up so the labels could eat. You know what I'm saying? So the mixtape runs, like you said, that was a golden era right there for real.
Man, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. So if you can name your favorite, I ain't gonna do the top and all that. if you can name your favorite three, what was your favorite three mixtape?
Damn, man, that's unfair. Favorite three.
An honorable mention too is the young what's my man name? Rocky Fresh. Somebody named Rocky Fresh. That was
I remember him.
That Driving 88 jump was crazy. That came out during that time too. Future
came out around them times, man.
He did.
Listen, my favorite again, only because this is what this was our theme music. Again, Cushion Orange Juice, Rich Forever was moving on that.
Yeah.
Currency, the joint he did with Alchemist. Oh man, Currency
did a whole mixtape with Alchemist.
Yeah, Calvin was it Calvin Coop? That one,
crazy.
Yeah.
I got.
Was it Harry Fraud? He did one with Alchemist, but I think the Calvin Coop was Harry Fraud or Alchemist. One of them, I think it's Harry Fraud. Matter of fact.
Yeah, I gotta look that up. I know that sounds crazy.
Yeah, man. Big Crit came out them times, man.
Big Crit, that Forever in the Day jump.
Yeah, so but those probably, and then Rocco joint, we was heavy on that, and then 2 Chainz. I'm sorry, 2 Chainz. 2 Chainz was dropping he was dropping his joints heavy. So those
you said y'all toured with 2 Chainz?
So we had a show out of Alabama with him.
Okay.
So one show we had was Alabama was with 2 Chainz out there, and that was lit. That was a good experience right there. That's when he was moving before he signed with Kanye and them. Actually, we actually had a show with Big Sean too, right before they signed with Good Music or whatnot. So yeah. So again, everybody was on the streets grinding, bro. For real. He was on it. So those was kind of the mixtapes because we was playing those almost every day because it just
man. In college, man, and it's crazy because in college we ain't had nothing to do for real but play music and you know what I'm saying, play like just get into you know what I'm saying, dumb shit and all that. I mean, I was definitely
Devin the dude, man. God, Devin the dude part.
Devin the dude. You talking about mixtape?
Man, he was dropping mixtapes, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Now, Devin the dude definitely like that. But I was definitely indulging during that time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We used to play all the mixtapes I named on repeat. You know what I'm saying? The jumps that, and I literally would play all. It was a season where I would play all of them jumps back to back, whether it's Mobile Nothing. That 11-1-11 mixtape crazy too.
11-1-11.
The Wale 11-1-11. That's the jump with Barry Sanders on there and Bait and all of that. But yeah, I was bumping that. I was bumping Royal Flush too. Sci-Hi the Prince. I feel like Sci-Hi the Prince, one of the most underrated rappers of this generation. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, his wordplay just crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's different.
See, I was in them times. I was listening to them artists when I was solo. When I was solo, that's when I indulged. I would, listen out and just switch up my palette a little bit. And then, but when we was out, I'm talking about Young Scooter, Gucci, Young Scooter, man.
I feel like, yeah, man. I was definitely bumping Finally Famous. I was bumping and something else, man. I took, like, looking back, I took pride in putting people onto it now because of what they became. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, because a lot of the artists that you naming, the Future, Gucci, a lot of them, they was already out. You know what I'm saying? That was the beauty in that moment, because it was like, people was like, who the hell is J. Cole? Who is Kendrick? Who is Big Sean? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Who is Big Crit and all of that? And look at what they turned into, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's why I feel like that moment is so crazy, because all them artists was just putting out mixtapes back to back to back, and ain't nobody know who they was. And now they literally are the leaders of that generation. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Like it was crazy how that happened, man. But yeah, so yeah, I was bumping all Drake at that time. You know what I'm saying? I was definitely bumping So Far Gone. No Ceilings. I used to play that to death.
No Ceilings killed it. No Ceilings killed it.
No, I definitely was playing No Ceilings to death. True Religion. Yeah, man. Cushion Orange Juice, like we already named. So yeah, man.
I mean, like it was, like you said, that was a golden era, and so I do remember them times vividly. And then, of course, like I said, Young Sir, we was good. We had a name out here in the streets, man. So recognition too. We dropped. So
yes, sir. I remember that during that time too. Yeah. I remember like certain things y'all would post. You know what I'm saying? I vaguely remember y'all posting that show with 2 Chainz. I just like, I remember it. Not, you know what I'm saying? I don't remember exactly like the whole situation, but I remember y'all posting a clip of that. You know what I'm saying? And the freestyles y'all used to post with the videos of the freestyles and all. I remember that during that time.
Yeah. We used to be out there with King Los and all of them, man. Those are them days, man.
Yeah, King Los crazy too.
Man. We learned a lot. Just learned a lot from some of these artists, man. Him being in the studio, we just learned, tricks and trade of the game and just how to make music. And the mixtape era, for real, I'm always hold dear to my heart because we lived it, and I really have an experience of that era, man. And that was one of my favorite times. One of my favorite, for sure.
Yeah, man.